For the next few minutes, we're taking a look at the importance of commercial real estate development to the growth of our city. Office buildings are the backbone and the lifeblood of our city's economy. Between 1960 and 1975 in New York, we created new office space at an astounding rate: 169 new buildings and 110 million square feet of office during that 15-year stretch. The period between 2000 and 2015 pales by comparison. There were just 36 new office buildings, totaling 33 million square feet. That said, we are currently witnessing a significant increase in new construction, especially in Lower Manhattan and the Far West Side. At the same time, New York's development community is showing a high degree of ingenuity in adapting existing office space to meet the demands of the modern tenant. A new study by New York City's Economic Development Corporation found that we need more office space, a lot more.
Based on analysis that we did looking at job growth projected over the course of the next 10 years, as well as changing office typologies and the way people work, which really means densification in terms of square footage for office workers, we project that there could be almost 60 million square feet of commercial office demand over the course of the next 10 years.
We've asked leading public and private sector experts to give their views on the state of the commercial real estate market and what New York City needs to do to maintain our edge as a 21st century global economy.
Well, a long, long time ago, pre the Depression, people bought land and they built a building. You didn't need an anchor tenant, and you could make a reasonable land deal. And real estate taxes they seemed moderate relative to what rents you needed to achieve to satisfy your lender. But even thinking of the 60s and 70s, buildings still got started on spec. The old families of New York put their own capital in, they got traditional loans from traditional banks, there was no sort of syndication.
After the city almost went bankrupt in 1975, that ended that boom period. And it really wasn't until the mid-1980s when we started to see office construction come back.
There was a special incentive for office buildings. There was a date in the late 80s that if you got your foundation and footings in, you benefited from certain tax incentives.
During the S&L crisis in the early 90s, much of that construction went back to the banks. That S&L crisis really created the end of speculative building in any mass way in New York City. We have since seen office buildings come back in terms of being built, but most office building construction today requires an anchor tenant or anchor tenants in order to build them.
In the current real estate tax regime we have, given what land costs are and given what construction costs are, you put those three together, what new construction is going to cost in this city are rents only the very richest firms can achieve. We need to figure out how to make it possible for people who can't pay $150 a square foot.
There will be areas in Brooklyn that are not office centers today that probably will be. There'll be areas of Queens and the Bronx that will serve office tenants that have employees that live close by.
Thank you, God, for Brooklyn. Thank you for Queens. Because we don't have big available footprints in Manhattan other than those that are being staked out already.
Mass transit is the key to future office development.
The expansion of the transit infrastructure is absolutely important in order for the growing communities in New York City to thrive and to do well. Things like the extension of the number 7 line and 1 Vanderbilt Plaza allow for the movement of people in and out of the central business district. And recently we just learned about a proposal for light rail along the Brooklyn-Queens waterfront, which is really exciting. The Bronx is slated to get several new Metro North stops.
As long as the city is safe and clean and a place that people want to keep coming, there'll be increasing demand for office space, and that office space is probably going to take all kinds of different forms and shapes and will be more geographically diverse than we've ever seen.
As a city and as an industry, we are making great strides in expanding our commercial districts and modernizing our office inventory. But more work needs to be done. Even as Hudson Yards and the New World Trade Center are reshaping our skyline, we must push ahead with Midtown East rezoning, and we must continue to nurture emerging commercial markets in Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. Doing so will ensure that companies of all shapes and sizes will be able to locate and grow in New York City. As we've done now for 120 years, REBNY will continue to speak out and work on these and other issues that are critical to our region's continued growth and economic vitality. Thank you.